working in studios. You know, Sister Q. But this online, video stuff is some work. I can't hear you clearly. Are you talking in a speakerphone?
Let me put my headset on.
Okay, 'cause it sounds kind of blurry.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute, it just came in, but it's a delay.
There's a delay, so that's only going to be the only thing. But it's not ready yet on YouTube. But this is for Live City.
Okay, is this any better?
Yeah, say it again.
Can you hear me any better here now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm asking, I'm going on YouTube to Bob Reward Club live stream.
Yup, that link I sent you yesterday.
Okay.
So if anybody's watching right now on Facebook, we are just waiting so that we can go live on YouTube. It takes a little bit longer. But my name is Michelle. I am the host of Agree to Disagree. I've got Cheryl on the phone. Say hello, Cheryl.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Great. And Cheryl, are you on mute? Go ahead and take yourself
yeah.
off of mute.
Okay, I was on mute. I was waiting until we broadcast. But
We are
still got
broadcasting.
about 4 minutes.
We're live on
Oh, so you're going
Facebook.
in early?
We're live
Oh,
on
okay.
Facebook, so that's why we're just getting ready to, get on YouTube right now, and then we're gonna start our program.
All right. What is it?
Cheryl, do me a favor and see if you can hear the volume okay on the Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a delay.
it is. It's gonna be a delay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what I'm seeing on YouTube is Bob Rewards Club live stream.
Click on that.
And it's what's his name? Introducing co-host Cheryl from One Way Productions. Is that what I'm supposed to be seeing?
Where it says live, click
yes.
on the live.
And now it says Bob Rewards Club and One Way Productions. Yes, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's it. Okay.
But it's delayed.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started now. We are broadcasting live. I'm so excited to have everybody here. Last week we had some technical difficulties trying to broadcast the show. Our guest today is Sister Q. Sister Q is with Harambe Radio. She has a show called What the Problem Is. And I want to, today our discussion is going to ask you a question, okay? And the question is going to be this, all right? It's going to be whether or not you agree that black people in the United States should indeed come together to support and embrace black nationalism, okay? So, here I am. Hopefully you guys can see me. Hello, everybody. As I said, I'm so glad for you guys to be here. So, Sister Q, I know you guys can't see my guests, but I want you guys to go ahead and just introduce yourselves a little bit. Tell who you are. Sister Q, why don't you go ahead and start first since you're the guest?
Okay. My name is Sister Q. I am one of the hosts on Harambe Radio. I have a program called What the Problem Is with Sister Q live on Harambe Radio. It comes on Thursday evenings from 8 to 9. And it's an internet radio program. So you can go to haramberadio.com and click on the live stream button and listen to us. Like I said, I'm one of many hosts on Harambe. My main focus is health and the financial system and the legal system, how those three systems work together to keep people with melanin from being able to handle their own health care and keep ourselves healthy. I believe that if we were a group of nationalists, or if we had our own means of handling our own affairs, then we could control our own health care and we would not be at the mercy of the disease management system we currently find ourselves under. Almost all the disease conditions that we find ourselves suffering from have cures, but it's now no money in curing diseases. So we are dying at record numbers from things that we shouldn't even be addressing.
Yes,
so that's
we are.
What leads me to think that nationalism is important.
Yes, and important not just for healthcare, but for culture, for economic reasons. We think about a time back when we were segregated, how well we did do, as a group of people. Now, what inspired me to talk about this subject today is because recently I had, and you guys all saw it too, Donald Trump, he's been on the news. He's been talking about, nationalism and how he's a nationalist, not a globalist. And from a literal sense, we can all relate to that, right? From globalism to nationalism, thinking about our country. However, when we hear the word nationalism, what do we think? I mean, what do you think, Cheryl?
Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. my name is Cheryl. I'm with One Way Production. And what we do, we sponsor the Marriage Couch, which is a platform for different arts to express themselves. We're also a publishing company, because we have several African Americans that write books and never getting seen or known. You can come there and express any type of, art that you create or craft that you have, such as musical talents. If you're trying to get into acting, there's all types of things you can find on the Marriage Couch. And before we leave, I'll give you the website where you can go on and look. But as you spoke of with the nationalism, as far as what you said, nationalists that Donald Trump spoke of, I don't know if you saw where he had said that he denies that completely. He's a globalist and he's a nationalist and he's all of this other things, but he says that that is a racist statement and he denies it right now. But but action speaks louder than words.
That's right.
And what he said, you can't take back, because especially when it's recorded all over, the world.
That's right.
Donald Trump is in his own world, I believe. I believe that he's going to do, like I told you before when we were, cut off. I think he's really like a puppet for the White House, and he's doing what he feels. It doesn't matter what's right or wrong. He's doing what he feels, and he's getting into Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. He is, well, I saw a couple of days ago, he they were doing the White House, what do they call it, briefing, when all the reporters are there. Did you guys see that?
The press conference.
Yeah, that conference.
The press briefing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he attacked it, what is it, April? Not April, but Angela. No, her name is April.
CNN, yeah.
From CNN, and then, what is his name, Jim Acosta, they took away his badge because, he kept asking the persistence. But then the black lady, I don't know what media she was from, the black woman that stood up, she had asked him about the question about nationalism, and then, he called her a racist, said that was insulting and all this other stuff,
Yeah, when he said that. That's what I was speaking on.
Right.
Yeah.
My thing is, how in the world, I can't stand them people. When you bring up the issue of racism, they want to turn around and make it look like the person who's asking the question is the person at fault. Who's the racist? It's like, a total reverse. And so that is, what do you guys think about that?
I think that I don't think racism and racist are bad words. I think that black people or people with melanin, whatever, however, because, everybody wants to identify themselves as whatever, something different. We can't even agree on who we are, much less anything else at this juncture. But what I think is, it's nothing wrong with white people feeling that everything that they do should be to advance themselves. It's nothing wrong with Asian people thinking that everything they do should advance themselves. Mm-hmm. What we have going on is that we don't think we should advance ourselves. We want them to do it for us.
That's right.
And if they don't look to us first, then they're racist. They are not your creator. They should not be your God. Okay? Mm-hmm. You have everything, we as a group of people have everything they have as a group of people, except we don't have a focus on ourselves as a group of people. So my question is, if we are at war, which we keep hearing we're at war, why is it that we want our adversary to think of us first thing in the morning and the last thing at night? Because to me, if you think of me last thing at night and we're at war, what you're looking for is a way to defeat me. You want to answer in your dream. If you dream in the morning when you wake up, the first thing you want to do is look at how you can destroy me. So that doesn't seem like a logical chain of events if I'm at war and I want to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I couldn't say it any better.
Really?
I think, though, we want acceptance. And I think it's a natural thing for everybody to want to be accepted. I don't think that that's anything abnormal. And I think that after years of, we're still being oppressed, but that derogatory oppression or that overt oppression that we saw during, even slavery, past slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, all of that period. I mean, we're still got, and now we have a Donald Trump who's got this, oh my gosh, he's an overt racist. Okay. So, the thing is that, I mean, it's complicated. It really is. But, a lot of us, I think that we think that because we have, gotten all this education, we can now live in their communities, that once we couldn't do that before, we can, have a relationship with whoever we want, sexually, we can marry, whoever we want, all these quote unquote interracial freedoms. I don't know what other
Well, you know what I say? This is how I see it. I see it that you have to first of all realize that the black child, when they first enter this world, they're set up for failure because we don't come in with the same, ability to achieve like the white child. So first of all, regardless of where you go or how you're educated or whatever, you're going to have to work even harder because a lot of what is given to the white child is not given to the black child. Because even when you enter the hospital, a lot of times you are getting into an inheritance to where we have to work hard. So when you see our people looking as though they are joining the other races or turning their back on their race or something like that, you have to understand that we make up at least 80% of what society that, resources come from. And we never get our credit for it. So a lot of times we have to grab the coattail of someone who may, by chance, push us in the front line. Because we're not going to, as long as they're continuing to bring in other minorities and giving them, heads up, because when they come in, they give them a whole genre of new things that they can do to achieve. We're still fighting. And with us fighting, we're it's not that we're leaving our camp, it's that we're trying to fit in. And it's really hard when you don't have the resources, and that's the point that I'm making. So, whenever I see somebody that's with a different race or in a different, just looking as though they've abandoned the camp, I can see where they're coming from as far as trying to get out, and it's what do we do? What is the answer? How do we lead? How do we achieve? We won't unite. So what?
But we can unite.
I think you answered the question yourself. We have taken the opportunity to be ununited. Right. Because during segregation, we had no choice. We could only live in our own communities. We could only go to our own hospitals. We could only go to our own schools. And those are the times when we excelled. Exactly. That's also the times when we had money, when our children were doing well in school, and where we, all the things we say we don't have now, we had at that.
Exactly.
We talk about Black Wall Street. I like to give that example because it shows what we did during a time of segregation, where they called it Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Tulsa, Oklahoma was not the only one. That's the one they talk about the most. But everywhere we were segregated, so we had our own economic power. We had whatever we needed to do. So Black Wall Street, they created an incident and they bombed Black Wall Street to the ground. And people stopped the story right there. It was destroyed. But that's not the end of the story.
No.
Who was it? I think I don't know the name of the aid organization that tried to come in, maybe the Red Cross or somebody like that. They tried to come in, the white people, the white mayor or whoever said, no, you can't give these people aid. They, whatever. They kept us from getting help. They kept Black Wall Street from getting help. The men of Black Wall Street, the business leaders, were able to go outside because they had a reputation. They were able to get funding. The people stayed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I understand it gets real cold in the winter. They were living in tents. Okay, the people that decided to stay.
Exactly.
And then, they said in 5 years, they had rebuilt the whole area better than it had been before it was destroyed. in 10 years, they were like off the chain. Okay. So my question, to me, this is the reason why every Black Wall Street in America had to be destroyed. Because if I can tear down everything you have, refuse to allow anybody to help you, and you can get up, rebuild, and excel, okay, go further than I had stopped, than you were when I had stopped you, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because you are going to, and that's what the problem already was, that they had excelled. A lot of people, there was a depression 30 years after the end of slavery. Black folks had lost all the monies that they put in the American banks. You understand why Black people don't like putting their money in the bank?
That's right.
30 years after slavery, they had amassed more money than everybody else in the United States. And the bankers got together and stole that money by creating a depression. Okay, and now go forward another 20 years. This is about the time of Black Wall Street. You see, in 20 years, we could do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, because we supported each other, right?
We supported each other. We worked together to build what we needed and what we wanted.
Right.
Of course, they have to stop that. I can't blame them, but it's not for us to stop.
I can blame them, though.
No, I no, because to me, in a war, your adversary's supposed to keep your steel sharp. Supposed to make you keep your steel sharp. You are supposed to be proving your worthiness as an adversary.
Right.
So if you're at war, this is what you got to expect. We say we're at war. We say we're warriors, and then we sit in the corner and cry because our enemy, because our enemy is fighting. Okay, no, don't work like that. So no, I don't. I feel that we have to say, bring us the best you got. We can take you and we can beat you and we can go forward. But we're not doing that. Everybody's running. Everybody's scared. Everybody is tired. The old heads are tired. They've been at this for 50 years, 70 years, however many years, and they don't trust our youth enough to pass the baton.
Right.
So the youth are waiting to step up. Because, y'all come to me with this YouTube stuff and this whatever other stuff you're trying to do to make this social media, whatever. I don't know nothing about that.
I know that's right.
Okay. So this is your agenda. All right. This is your time.
I'm learning too. You see, I can't get these screens to work.
This is your time.
The millennium children,
Yeah, this is your time to take where we stopped off at the at the flyers on the wall, and y'all take it and you putting it on Facebook and you putting it here, there, and everywhere in cyberspace. Good.
And
keep it going.
And that's what I was telling Michelle. One of the things that I noticed, and even when she speak of the multi-races and everything, the younger people are going to survive. They're not going to look at things like the older heads are. And it's going to come to a place.
What do you mean by survive, though? What do you mean by that?
They're going to, a lot of this racism, a lot of this pro-black, a lot of all of that is going to go into pro-fairness and it's going to disappear.
No, it's not.
Depending on, it's going to disappear as far as what we know it to be. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying racism will ever leave because there's racism in every race. But what I'm saying is that a lot of what's holding us back, it's going to be, because I don't know if you all have noticed, but majority of the children that's born today are multiracial. They're mixed with some of everything. And really the jewel will be the African American child that's not mixed with anything. That will be what everyone will be trying to possess, and who will be making all the shots as far as being known and being recognized and everything else, because they will be pure as far as what the white man even calls pure when it comes down to the blonde hair and blue eyes, because there's so many mixed races right now, and it's changing. It's changing.
Well, but don't you think that's on purpose? Don't you think that's part of the plan?
Well, I'm thinking that's part of the generation, because they're not looking at the younger people. A lot of them aren't looking at color anymore. They're, like I said, pro-black can be here, and we can try to get it together, but you can take the average mixed child now, and they're going to go for black. You know, if they're mixed, or got black in any of them, they're going to be black. And a lot of
it's always been like that, Cheryl.
You what?
It's always been like that. You know, a drop of blood of black, you were black.
It's been like that, but I'm saying you can tell how many more families are forming with minorities. Now, I've noticed it. I mean, maybe I'm just kind of like maybe one of those late bloomers, but I'm just noticing, even on TV, anything you want, you're looking at multiracial families.
But don't you think that's part of the plan? Who's putting that out there? I mean, don't you think that's part of the oppression, and you know, that's part of their plan? I mean, look at Brazil. You take a country like Brazil, and in fact, you could take almost every Latin American country, okay? And the people, the dark people, you don't find them. You can't, you know, I mean, they're there, but do they ever show you them? Okay? You don't see them. I mean, in like Brazil, I mean, it's the whitening of a culture. I mean, like, for example, it's part of the white supremacist plan to lighten and whiten up people, okay? So, like, for example, look at what just happened in Florida.
How does that have anything to do with who you fall in love with and marry and have children with?
Well, it doesn't. I'm not saying you can't love somebody, but I'm saying that, you know, if you're going to call yourself a black nationalist or you're pro-black, in my opinion, and I can't show you my screen because I figured out why, because I just can't get the camera to go over to my screen because I think I got you guys on Hangouts. But one of my things that I wanted to present is, you know, what does it mean to be a black, pro-black or even a black nationalist? Does that mean that you can't interracially date? I want you guys to answer
what
that.
I'm saying is that everybody is not pro-black. Some people are just pro-fair, like me. I'm not pro-black. I'm pro-fair. And I don't care what color you are. As long as you treat me fair, as long as you treat my people fair. I don't think that it's fair for my black, just like with the black Americans or the slogan about all life matters. I feel like that should matter for the black, white, man. I don't care what color you are. You should be treated fairly. I should not be singled out because of my color. And that is what I'm saying. Okay. And I'm saying that, I want to be treated like the average average American. I don't want to be treated a certain way because I'm black, you know, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. I don't think Martin Luther King was asking us to segregate and be among ourselves. I think what he wanted to see was, like he said, all hands standing side by side, all colors, all races, because if you're just going to be one race and there's going to be no change, well, you just might as well cease to exist to me, because one race can't run the show. I'm sorry. God made it in a multiple of colors. And if you can't see that, or you don't want to kind of give in to that, now don't get me wrong. We can get together as far as a black person. We can get together and we can achieve because we've done it before. But why should we do that when we can take in their, all money is green money. So I feel like
I'm not talking about money.
Well, I'm talking about it takes money with power, baby. And if you don't realize that, then that you need to start there in economics, because money is power. And if we can
I'm talking about nationalism. I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about marrying and dating other black people. I'm talking about standing up for issues that affect black people. I'm talking about not having a docile personality and accepting racism, okay, and accepting, racist acts, things that go on your job, but you overlook them. I'm talking about standing up for your black people.
Girl, that's
during
exactly
times.
what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So, like you said, we got to agree to disagree on some things. And that's exactly what I'm speaking of.
Well, let me ask you the
question,
question,
if
Cheryl.
you're treated fair on the job, if you're treated fair in society, if you're treated fair, then those things will evaluate and leave them own selves. Because that there won't be any of that if it's a fair race. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's how I feel. I would prefer to be in a fair, treated right, treated equally world than just to be standing just with my black race. I love my black race, but I'm kind of like I would like to be able to stand anywhere and not feel segregated.
Sister Q, how do you feel about that?
I understand exactly what Sister Cheryl is saying. To me, part of what Sister Cheryl is saying is that when we come to the table right now, we come to the table as lesser parties. We are coming to the table begging for crumbs. We are coming to the table, and the ones that get to the table are so happy to be at the table that they're not true representatives of the people that sent them to the table. So what I think is that for myself,
mm-hmm.
I want to be, when I go to the table, I'm going to the table as at least an equal.
An equal.
At least an equal. I may be superior in some regards to other people on the table, but at least I'm an equal. Don't think that I'm going to be satisfied with your crumbs. Don't think I'm going to beg you for a little bit of this and that. I'm here as your equal. I don't care if you're European. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care who you are or what you are. I have a right to be at this table and be respected for myself and the people I represent. Now, when I come, I am with black people behind me. Okay.
Exactly.
So we are coming, and the only way that we can do that, though, is if black people say, this is what we want. And they tell, and they tell me, okay, I can go, let's say we had a forum where we could talk about plans of how we want to build a nation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's more to building a nation than just saying we're a nation. Number one, we don't have any land to speak of. That is a key element to having a nation.
We do have people that got land, though, in our,
There are some people that have land. I'm not saying we don't. I'm not saying we are totally landless. I'm saying that we don't have a nation of land.
Right.
We can't say this is our land. This is how we cultivate our land. As you mentioned, Sister Michelle, culture.
Right.
This is how we are going to stand on our land. Mm-hmm. When you come on our land, you can expect this, you can expect that. We ain't having that.
Mm-hmm.
You can have, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We decide how our culture is going to be run on our land. Now, so then if someone is having a party and they invite us to the table, we send somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We send somebody. It's not a case of the people over there saying, we want you to send such and such a one to come talk to us. No, he doesn't represent us. we will send who we want to send, or we ain't sending nobody. And we have the power to back that up because we are a cultural, protected land of landed people. Okay? So we have leaders assigned to us.
Right.
That cannot work.
Picked out for us.
Assigned to, and
right.
they get paid handsomely to keep us in our place.
Right. And speaking of land, look at all the land. If you go back and you check out all the African American land and a lot of what they call our land per se, then all of a sudden, where do you think eminent domain came from? Because they're not going to let us get too big. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to take it. That's the government came up with that for the minority. Because if you look at a lot of the different states and you look at the land on the south side normally, it's where a lot of the African Americans own. There's always got to be a new road coming through. There's got to be some kind of development happening, and they take it from us. So what I'm saying is that why can't you treat me like you treat the north side of the land? That
they
it
can't.
becomes, you know,
they want the power.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Why can't I be treated that way? Why does my land always have to be the land that the new development has come through?
Because if they leave you alone, you will surpass them just as you did in Tulsa.
80% of what we make up.
That is why they keep
keeping us down.
Keep doing everything they can to keep us from achieving a minimum.
That's right.
Whatever, because they know who we are.
Exactly.
The purpose of the miseducation system is so that we never find out who we are.
That's it.
Okay, and they don't, and also they don't want their children to know who we are because you're talking about this intermingling and intermarriage and all this other stuff going on. I have heard white women refer to black men as the gods of the planet.
Right.
So
say that one more time. As the gods of the clan?
The gods of the planet.
The gods of the planet.
The gods are the black people.
Okay.
And so the white women will say, I'm going to get me a god. All right. And some of the white men want, they know they're not that, but if they can get a black woman and have a child with her, their child is at least halfway that.
Right, exactly.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sister Q. I didn't mean to.
So, to me, we have to protect our that. We have to protect our godhood. To me. But
yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, we have to, there's something very special about our genes, as we know, The black woman is the oldest, everybody comes from the black woman by DNA. But I don't know, I don't mean to digress, but there's a lot going on these last few years about how now, first it was the white women were having a hard time, having babies. And then now it's the white men, their sperm count is low, okay? And there's quite a few videos and stuff on it, a lot of information on it. Do you think, and I'm not trying to digress, but do you think that might be an inspiration of how come we are finding a lot of interracial, dating and relationships and marriages and kids? I mean, I saw a commercial the other day on TV.
Yes, that's why. Yes.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our feet in the door. Yes. That's exactly why.
Because go ahead.
Go ahead, sister.
No, you go ahead.
I don't want you to lose your thought.
No, I'll keep it because you're saying something that is pertinent to what I'm going to say. So you go ahead.
Oh, well, the only reason I was saying yes to that is because, that leads back to what I was saying. If you can get your foot in the door, then you would have a little power behind you because, like I say, money is power. And most white people have money. Even if it's not in their hands right now, they will inherit it from somewhere. From it could be father, but it's coming to them directly. And when you get a little bit of power, and what has the white man always done? Taken the black man's ideas and ran to the forefront with them. Right. So, you know, if you got somebody in your bed giving you direct ingredients to go and make you something, then eventually it might just land in your hand. You know what I'm saying? It just
for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Exactly. And
even if they changes their color? Even if
it's genetic material. We get caught up on the color part,
right?
But their thing is, I don't care how I get into the future,
exactly,
as long as I get there. So I can plant my seed in a black woman, or I can. You know, if I'm a black man with a white woman, if a white woman says, then I can have a child with a black man. Everything shows them that they are dwindling in number, that they are not going to be physically in the form that they are now able to stay on the planet. But their lineage can continue if they can get a black person to have a child for them and that child procreate and keep going.
Isn't that interesting? That is. Wow.
Say that again.
Michelle, isn't that what they did to us? Isn't that exactly what the white man did to us? Then they take our women, and then they have babies and stuff by them, and have you noticed this? Let me ask you this. Have you noticed when a white woman is with a black man, she tries to take on that ethnic, you know, she starts talking like a black person, acting like a black person. Not all of them, But do you ever see the black men acting like white women? You know, like taking on their
I mean, I see that both cultures are trying to assimilate somewhat. But I have seen where white women are they're just as racist as them, you know, if they were not even married to, you know, they call their spouses niggers, you know, there's a conflict between, I mean, when I was growing up, some of my closest friends were mixed, you know, and, you know, they had conflicts with their parents, you know, they didn't know what identity they were. It was a lot of confusion as to race. I mean, one thing about it, we've been dealing with these race issues since the beginning of time, you know, or at least since that we know, you know, since we've been dealing with all the different groups and all the different cultures, okay? So, I don't know, I have to disagree on some of the premise. Now, I do want to say this when we're talking about, if you remember back when this, you know, interracial dating, you know, white women with black men got popular back in the 80s or even maybe some in the 70s, okay? But, you know, we saw so much of it, right? Now, I never thought, but I thought about this the other day. I said, I never thought, you know, when we're talking about the genetics and their ability to have children, I never put two and two together as to, hey, maybe the white women are chasing the black men because they can't find a white man, you know? I mean, have you guys ever thought about that? Do you think that might be some truth to some of what's going on?
No, that's not it. What it is, I believe that, see, let me tell you something. You always want something you can't have. You always are going to want something that you have been told not to touch. And I think that comes from, you know, you being black men, especially being told not to touch white women. And the white women, I think, when they start, are white men, because if you notice, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you take a black woman and a white man and you put them together, it seems like they go far. You know what I'm saying? But when you put a white woman with a black man, it seems like she's only limited to her resources with him, because that relationship usually don't travel too far. But it's because, like you said, the black woman is definitely the queen. Now, I don't doubt that, not one bit. She is the queen, because we can take a licking and keep on ticking. And that has been the black woman for many years to start. And I feel like that's where, and I'm not trying to put the black man down. I love him. God knows I do. But the white woman is the brains. I'm sorry.
The white woman is the
black
brain?
woman. The black woman. You know what I'm saying? The black woman is the brain. She's the brains of the operation. I don't care where you put her. She's the brain. So, I think, and that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that as politically incorrect as it is to acknowledge at this time, black men and women of any race, the woman has one role to play and the man has another one. The woman is the lawgiver, the man is the law enforcer. The woman says how the culture is going to be run, and the man protects it.
Amen. I can feel that.
So, I think, people say that they're against the matriarchy because the black woman has been running things, blah, 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 blah. We have not experienced the matriarchy. What we have experienced is a patriarchy in drag, because the black woman has had to function as a patriarch to deal with the white man. The white man, in generally, did not want to deal with the black man. He was intimidated.
Yes.
So he dealt with the woman, and so the white man's influence was coming into the black family, the black household, and the black woman was therefore having to act like a man, which is why I call it a matriarchy in drag.
True.
They called her the matriarch, but she wasn't doing her matriarchal thing. She was having to do the patriarchal thing to keep the outside and the inside kind of going.
Yeah, keep it going.
And so when we establish or reestablish how we want to run culture, how we want our culture to function, then the women can be taught. You build the dream, and the man will build it. You dream it. You dream what you want. You dream the society that we're going to have. The man will build it and protect it. That's what we have always done. But, having been here under outside influence, we haven't been able to do it effectively. And the woman has been, the man and the woman both have been traumatized, but the woman has now been put to the position where she holds the man back in a lot of things, because we can't go forward without a man. We need the sperm. We need the sperm to fertilize the egg. We need the man to take, we can't. If we don't have that, we're going to cease to exist.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
that's right.
The woman's position is that we have to protect this as best we can to keep us going till we get to the point where we can rear our head and stand up. And that day, I think, is here. We're talking about it, understanding what came behind, why we are here, and now where do we want to go from here?
Yes.
So back to the subject. Let me ask both of you guys this question. First, you, Sister Q. If you are in an interracial relationship, do you consider that to be a pro-black, or do you consider that person to be practicing black nationalism?
As far as my opinion, which has no value to anybody but me,
I hear you.
I myself could not consider myself a black nationalist and be in a relationship with someone else, other than a black man. No, for me, that's not it.
Yeah.
But again, I can't say that for anybody else. I can only address it for me.
Okay. How about you, Cheryl?
Well, I think, like I said, the world is growing up, and no,
Really?
I don't think you would be you couldn't be not in a biracial relationship because and especially if there's children there, you would divide your children. So you would have to, like I said, I'm not pro-black, so that would be easy for me in a relationship like that because I would be teaching, equalism. I will be teaching that treat people right and treat them like you want to be treated, and that's how I would look at it now. But no, if I'm married to a white man, I wouldn't consider myself as a pro-black.
Okay. And I feel the same way I feel with Sister Q, that you couldn't call yourself pro-black. You are not a black nationalist if you're in an interracial relationship. That's just how it is. No. I mean, I hear people all the time talking about, well, I'm pro-black, I'm this, I'm that, but you couldn't be, okay? Because your babies are not going to come out all black, okay? Even though we are all mixed up anyway, I mean, as far as in genes are concerned, but, the ideologies and how we perceive things, okay, is different. So I wanted to go ahead, and we got that out there, and I want to hear from the viewers, if you guys are watching this, what do you guys think about this? Leave your comments on Facebook or YouTube, and let us know, what do you think? Do you agree with, the meaning of what a black nationalist is? Now, I want to go to the next subject here. And I created this beautiful presentation, but, somehow I'm having some technical difficulties and I cannot show it, but I want to continue on because I think we're having a very, very good conversation right now. When it comes to nationalist groups, okay, so like we saw last year with Charlottesville and Virginia, right? And what happened, Heather Heyer got killed. You know that all those white nationalist groups is what I'm going to call them, okay, came together. They were all from all over. They were the Aryans, they were the new Ku Klux Klan or whatever, all their names, the alt-right, there's a lot of them. They all came together. And like we're seeing, they're coming together supporting Trump, okay? And they're working as one force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the comment that Trump made, about, how he said it was, both groups on both sides, it was their fault, right? CNN plays that that little clip every other day, so it's not hard to find. But the question is, think about the Black Panthers. And Sister Q, this question, I want you to kind of go into the history of the Black Panthers. And until, we got a new Black Panther movement too. They're very small. We got some of the original Black Panthers. I had a picture. There's a group in Milwaukee where they're doing some work, the original Black Panthers. I mean, they're like 40 and up, they're not young dudes, and few women. But do you consider that, or would you put them groups in the same category? The white nationalist groups like the alt-right, the new Nazi parties and all them, okay? Would you compare them to Black Lives Matter, to the new Black Panther Party?
I think that what I saw, how I read that is European people, white people, whatever you want to call them, they will come together for what would commonly be called self-preservation, or preservation of the white race, or whatever their ideology is, they'll come together. When it comes to black people, we will not come together for self-preservation. So what happens then is that something is going on, and, well, are the Muslims going to be there? Well, I don't go nothing with the Muslims, you know. Or that new Black Panther Party, what? Who are they? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm an OG. I ain't got no use for them. Mm-hmm. So we shoot our own selves in the foot. The Black Panther Party, and it can't even be called the original Black Panther Party because they built on something else from somewhere else. But what they were doing was trying to resolve issues in the black community. And everybody always thinks of them as these gun-toting people that stood up to the police. Yes, they did that. Mm-hmm. But they also fed children breakfast before they went to school. And that's where you have the government program now of giving children free breakfast in school. Mm-hmm. Because children have a tendency to love the person that feeds them. And if the Black Panthers were feeding their own children or the other children in the community, then those children looked up to black men and black women with respect and regard. And the government didn't want that. So they, y'all can't do that. And they started the school program, the school breakfast program, the school lunch program. A lot of people think that, those things have always been in effect. But no, the Black Panthers did that. The Black Panthers made sure if you had a doctor's appointment or a nursing appointment that you could get there. Okay, because we didn't have, necessarily a way to get to doctor's appointments. Remember, they closed down the hospitals in the black community. Mm-hmm. Okay.
In L.A., it started in L.A., didn't it? In Los Angeles. That again? The Black Panther Party started in L.A. and like Oakland.
The Oakland was the chapter that was focused upon, but they were actually in many places all over the world. We think of it as Oakland. There are people in Australia, people in Europe, people all over the world who identify, black people, we're going to say they're black people, that were Black Panthers during that time. But our focus was almost always given to the ones on the West Coast of the United States.
Oh, okay.
So, and they did a lot of good things. Mm-hmm. Now, you said there's a new Black Panther Party. I don't know too much about them. I do know that there was a rift, apparently, between the original Black Panther Party and the new Black Panther Party because the new Black Panther Party, this is my understanding. Now, this is not historical. I would suggest that people do the research. Mm-hmm. My understanding is that the new Black Panther Party took the name Black Panther Party, added the word new to it, and then didn't want to recognize the Black Panther Party of the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. So there's, to my understanding, that rift going on right there now, even still now. But the Black Panther Party was resolving some of the issues that they saw within the community. And one of the issues that they addressed was police brutality in the black community.
Yeah, they're nothing like, but there are some different movements. There's a whole big in the social media. There's just, even in social media, there's like a whole bunch of, pro-black, you know, people that, people are trying to come together and, whatever. Some of it's good and some of it's bad. I think that they get a bad name. I would even go as far as to say, even with white nationalist groups, the majority of them, quote unquote, are not trying to be violent. But there are some violent groups out there. There are, but
right.
A lot of them are trying to, like you said, they want to hold on to their culture, their heritage, and so on. Even if they got to stomp on people, kill people, or whatever. But so there's extremity in all of it. So I don't know, Cheryl, what do you think about that question as far as in,
Well, I, as a matter of fact, thank you, Sister Q, because you educated me on some stuff I didn't even know about the Black Panthers. But,
okay.
I know that this new group that's forming, they are, they're forming, I think they founded in Dallas, right? And
that's my understanding, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still watching that. I don't like violence, just like Sister Q said, and as long as you are, like I said, trying to make a difference to make things better, I don't think that we need to put ourselves in the middle of a big war that we've already faced war with what we're dealing with in racism. But if it's something positive, I'm all for it. I haven't investigated it or looked into it much, but right now my main concern is, our Black children being shot down in the streets, which I have to commend this officer in Richardson, Texas, the other day. I saw on the news where he avoided killing one of our Black youth. He realized that he had some kind of psychological problem going on, and he was rushing at him, and the guy, he just kind of got out the way and he didn't have a weapon or anything. He just saw him rushing at him, which normally they were talking about it and saying that, things that's happened like this in the past, well, there we are, another youth or another Black man being put down, but this guy, he avoided it, and he said it was all to his new training that they're getting in Richardson, Texas. So, when I saw that, I praised God then, because I'm like, we could have been, facing this child's death. But that's the kind of stuff I'm for. I'm for trying to treat him like you would the other white children or the other races of children that you normally would treat this way. And that let me know that, okay, prayer does work. Because I think, if anything, it's time for us to get together and pray and ask God to change some things if you believe in it. Because if nothing's going to happen in this world that he's not going to allow anyway. And we go through everything for a reason. So right now, I try to look for positive, and if it's a positive group forming, I'm all for it. But if it's something to confront violence, I hope no parts of it last. That's just how I feel. I don't want to see I don't think anything should be done violently.
But you're not one of them people that believe, like, when things do happen, like when a white supremacist, kills one of us, or one of them white supremacist police officers, kills one of our young Black men. You're not one of them people that think we should forgive, are you?
No, I'm not. I don't think that every white person killed is just a white supremacist. I think that sometimes people do it out of sheer scaredness. They're afraid of us to just start.
I don't think so.
Now, that is where a lot of the problem stems from. Just like Sister Q said earlier, the white man is just afraid of the Black man, and he has always been, because he knows that the Black man is just more. I don't know. He's just. I'm just gonna have to say it.
I don't buy that.
So you don't think that the white man is afraid of the Black man?
I think that they are afraid of him if they did not have a gun in their hand, okay? But you got, right now, I think it's like, what, 10 guns, 10, 11 guns the average white family has in their household, okay? A couple years ago, the hottest selling item was a firearm, okay? More people bought guns for Christmas 2 years ago than ever before. This country has more guns. We just saw the other day in Los Angeles, this crazy nut. That's a whole nother episode I want to get on, about these guys leaving the military. I believe that a lot of these police officers who are killing these black guys, they are ex-military. They have gone over to Afghanistan, to Iran, Iraq. They have killed, and they haven't gotten it out of their system. But no one's talking about it in the media. And
but what about the black cops that's killing black men?
But there's not that many doing it.
But one is too many, Michelle. We're
killing each other too. So you want to bring up that? But I mean, there's no, like, you talk about fairness. There's no fairness when you can see, for example, like the guy that went up and bombed or shot up all the Jewish people last week. Killed 11 Jews in the synagogue. How come they didn't kill that guy? I mean, how come the police didn't kill that guy? They never killed the white people.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. But like I said, I don't think that every white person that kills a black person is a supremacist. I think that sometimes they just are afraid. And I think that that's a human nature. I don't think that every time a black person dies from the hands of a white person that it has to do with, being a white supremacist or just hating black people, or even, like I say, vice versa. When a black person shoots or kills or whatever another black, I don't think it's a motive. I think it was just an act of something that happened on just the part of being afraid a lot of times. I think that.
Okay, well, if you want to buy that, like right now, somebody can use what you just said in a law court to say, hey, that's what they used to get off the police. They're saying because they were afraid. And all these cases where the police are getting off these charges of killing these black men,
I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm not saying that. I said that I don't think that every white person or black person that kills a black is a white supremacist. That's what I said. I don't think that they are all just white supremacists. You have some white cops that have killed black people and have a black family. So how can you be, if you're that into being a supremacist or a white race, why would you be even with a black woman or a black man or whatever?
Well, we already talked about that.
Exactly. So if that's what you think. You think that
them
they're
having respect.
Like I'm saying, that's just my opinion. I don't think that every cop or every person, not just a cop, that kills a black person or another race is just, a supremacist. I just don't believe it.
Well, I will say if they're not, they're practicing a form of white supremacy, okay? Because they have no respect. They're not having any respect for that black life. All right? Because, like I said, we have so many cases where these white people have guns, they're confronted with the police, but the police have not killed them. Do you agree with that, Sister Q?
Okay, listening to this, my thoughts go back to Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, and her, I forget the name of her thesis, but what she's saying is that there's a fear of genetic annihilation, that the white man does fear the black man. And you will say the black man didn't have a gun. He was not armed. But he has, I guess I could say, he has the equipment. We'll leave it like that. He has the equipment to genetically annihilate the white man, the white race. And that is the fear.
And so you're saying
is,
that's why they're killing these black men, like, you know,
yeah.
when the black men are running or whatever. I mean, they're killing them in the back.
Always try to take them out.
When they say that I feared for my life, see, we think they're saying I feared for my life right here, right now. But what in their subconscious mind and why white juries will let each other off is because their fear is genetic annihilation by black people. This black man may go and make a baby with another black woman and or whatever. But at some point, the whole fear is that there will be only black people and no more white people.
Okay.
We white people will be genetically annihilated. And the black man has the equipment, the weapon to make that happen.
And then for all you viewers that don't know, but Dr. Cresswell Scene, who passed away, was it 2016, beginning of the year, there's plenty of videos out there where you can go look at, you know, how the equipment that Sistah Q is talking about has to do with testicles. You know, she refers to black balls.
I didn't know if I could say
balls.
that on the radio on Friday afternoon.
Girl, we can say it.
So I tried my best to say what I was saying without saying it. Okay.
Right.
We can say it. This is wrong. But so if you,
that's the truth. That is the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we take it as right here, right now. They're taking it as in the future. If this black man lives, my people will be removed from the planet just because black will dominate everything again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in other words, you're saying they take them out to get rid of those thoughts. I hear you.
To get, you know, that to end that line at least, or whatever. But because you know, I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times. Many years ago, there was an ad for Johnny Walker Black Label.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It was a black background.
Right.
And on the right bottom corner, it was Johnny Walker walking, you know, the logo for Johnny Walker. But the wording on the ad was, ultimately, there's black. Now, you may want to think they just talking about Johnny Walker, Black Label.
Right.
But they know that in this universe, or whatever you want to call it, everything came out of black. And at the end, everything will go back to black.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They know that. So you can trigger a subconscious fear just by letting the people see that ultimately there's black. And I saw recently somebody else has a print ad that has that pretty much that same kind of message. At the end is black, you know. Mm-hmm. So they know who we are. Mm-hmm. We just don't know who we are.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I totally agree with that. However, if we're taking that as the premise as to how come they're killing our black men and even some black women, you know, even for that case, I don't know how that would relate to that. However, if we take that and, you know, and we agree with that, then that means that they're purging. We're being purged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, for sure. No doubt. No question.
Right.
That's the whole agenda. Yes, for sure.
And, you know, there's no answer other than, like I said, we have to unite, we have to stick together. And, you know, and it just has to change. Things just have to change. Mm-hmm. Or we will cease to exist. It just has to change. And we have to come up with not just telling the problems. We have to have a solution to the change. Mm-hmm. And the solution has to be something that everybody agrees to. Because, you know, no one is going to do exactly what you want, and they're not going to do exactly what they want. We're going to have to do something where we can merge together if we're going to continue to exist. That's just the bottom line of it. We got to come together.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it is getting to, it's like this is deja vu. We are, when Trump says, make America great again. I mean, he's talking about going way back, ain't he?
Yeah.
Girl, shoot. I don't like that slogan. I just hate it. Make America great again. It never was
but
great.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, too, that this is what gets me with the Trump followers and all of that. I don't know if you've looked at the programs or watched TV and saw just who his followers are. If you look, it's not a multi line of just white people. You have blacks that are his followers. You have Spanish that's his followers. You have all types of Asians. He just don't have white people following him.
Oh yeah.
So
there's always a few tokens.
It's not a few of them. They put him in office. A lot of them did.
Who?
And I talked to.
You think so?
I think so. Like I said, you look at the background when they start, and they make sure that they put them in the pictures with them. Yeah, you look at the background, you would be surprised. There's a thing come on TV.
I've seen it. They mostly look white to me.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hamilton Report, but he's a black man and he is a Trump follower to your heart.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about there are some, but I don't think it's a lot. Now, I think the reason why he got into office, huh?
Okay, do you know who Eddie Glade is? He was the guy who said he underestimated the white people. He's the black guy who said that he didn't think that the white people would put him in office, but he was all for him at first and all of this, and he was pushing for him and all of that, he said, but he just really thought that the white people wouldn't put him in office. But he's a black man, and he was pushing for Trump harder than all of them. And many people that I spoke with that were my own race were talking about they were for Trump. Well, we need to try something. They hated Hillary. But
that's it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were they really for Trump or were they really against Hillary?
Oh, they hated Hillary as well.
Mm-hmm.
They hated Hillary, and they were for Trump because they said, and I used to try to convince them, I'd say, well, at least Bill has been into the White House. At least she would have some form of experience. Donald Trump has no experience at all. Okay, I have to give it to him. He's a good businessman when it comes down to conducting business, but when it came to conducting national, being a world leader, I just, he didn't have enough experience for me.
Well, to me, the way I see it is the person sitting in what I call a hot seat. Okay. They don't run the country anyway. So it really doesn't matter who sits on the hot seat. The country has an agenda, and the agenda will go forward.
Mm-hmm.
We are programmed to Trump did this or Trump did that, or Obama did this or Obama did that. Trump and Obama do the exact same thing, but but the thing is for us to be distracted by Obama, to be distracted by Trump, to be distracted by Clinton. The agenda is going forward, regardless of who's on the seat.
Well, I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah. No,
I was going to say, I agree that, like I said from the beginning, he's a puppet. You know what I mean? I agree with that. But the thing about it is now, like I said, when I hear everyone telling me, well, Trump is this and Trump is that, and I'm like, well, you put him in there. You know what I'm saying? And my point was, what she was saying, few tokens. Trust me, it's not a few tokens. It was many tokens that put him in there. And it was many of them I knew personally. So, that's why I say, if you are complaining now, don't complain about Trump. Complain about what's going on in the White House and what he's allowing, because you put him there. So if you think that it'll make a difference with him, at least you should have put somebody there that was more experienced, that was at least might have put a foot down. And like I say, a lot of them didn't want Hillary in there, and they wanted Trump before Hillary. So you deal with what you got, because maybe she might have had better ideas, or some kind of way she'd have brought something to the table. Where Trump is merely doing anything that he stole because he don't know anything about politics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, Hillary was just bad. They the politics are so screwed up in America. I mean, that's how come I'm in limbo right now. And as you know, Cheryl, I didn't vote. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Hillary. I just couldn't do it. And, my heart just wasn't with it. And that's the first time I said I'm not gonna vote. In my whole life, but because I didn't like what Hillary did to Gaddafi. I did not agree with her stuff, what she did over in the Middle East, and all the scandal with the money and everything. Just too much scandal. But Trump's got his own scandal, right?
Yeah, but Trump was nominated from behind people not voting. Hillary was nominated behind people not voting. So your vote has to count. I don't care what you believe in. You need to at least make your vote count. Because that's one of the things that we're talking about when it comes to sticking together and being united. We have to let our
we don't have an agenda. It's got to be some kind of agenda that's going to, at this point, because we can see through history, it has not helped. I'm sorry. But it depends on what...
I got to go, but don't get on this subject because you know how I feel about that.
But I'm saying it hasn't helped for a lot.
Let me say something right quick about that. You can vote all you want to. The people who get their way are the people who have the money to make the politicians do what they want to do. That's what Claude Anderson and others have said. They don't really care about you voting. When this photo op of Black Lives Matter confronting Hillary at some event or other, and they said, "What are you going to do for black people?" or something like that. And she said, what did she tell them? She said, "Get yourself an agenda, write it down, and bring it to me." We have never done that. We don't have an agenda. So we can't write. We don't have an agenda. We haven't written it down. We haven't taken it to anybody, and we have not said, we have X amount of dollars. If you don't do what we want you to do, we are going to run somebody who will. But as you say, the whole system is rigged, so it don't really matter. It's rigged to the money.
And I think that's how a lot of black people feel right now.
And speaking of Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm glad you brought him up because he has a great book out right now called, I think it's called A Black History Reader, and it's 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. That is a real. We need to really, really get that book and read it because it talks about black economics and everything, and it's 101, like I said, questions that you never thought to ask. And that I'm glad you brought him up because I meant to, enforce that book. Because it's a real good one.
Yeah, he's got some good books. He's a good speaker too. He's right on point.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I didn't vote, because of Dr. Claude Anderson. So
no, see, now you're gonna blame somebody else. Stand up for yourself. Affirm that you did not vote, and it's on you. You have made that choice. And this is one of the things that I want to say is I think almost everybody that lives in a big city has a Chinatown. And you don't see the Chinese people marching. You don't see the Chinese people doing any of the madness that we do. But their town is autonomous. You go in their town on their terms.
Right.
Okay, they're trying to break that up in many places. But for right now, in most places, you go into Chinatown on their terms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're talking about. If you want to come into our town, whatever we want to call it, you come in on our terms.
Mm-hmm.
We're not begging you for anything. We're not demanding anything. Because to me, if you're demanding something, you have no power. The power comes when the people say, well, if we do this, how are the people over there going to respond?
Mm-hmm.
The people they will not like if we do that, so we better not do that.
Mm.
That's when you know you have the power to make things happen. We don't have that. So I'm not, and I'm not one of those people that say we'll never have it. We will have it.
Yeah, I think
again.
so.
Again, you
Yes.
know, that will make America great again.
Okay. I hear you.
I know that's right, Sister Q.
Well spoken.
I love it. Well, should we end on that note? I think that we've had a good discussion. I think we've been on for about, an hour and 20 minutes now.
Okay.
Right. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I want to end on this, is that economics is the key. And that's how come I started the Bob program and I wanted to do this podcast. I want us to come together economically, okay, where we're supporting black-owned businesses, we're being productive, we're creating, and we're working together, okay? We are now at a time in history, okay, that it's repeating itself, but we're at a time where we do have to come together as a people. We have to love one another. We have to love our family, our friends. We got to, respect our neighbors. We've got to watch out for them children that are walking home from school, okay? There's so much that we can do because a lot of our people are suffering. So I started the Bob program, and I'm not going to go in detail about it, but I want to welcome everybody to join. It is not excluding anyone. We have 3 types of memberships. We've got a video out there. The first one is for black-owned businesses. They get most of the benefits, $25 a year. That's it. This isn't about money. This is a mission, okay? The second membership is BFAC. That stands for Black Franchises and Contractors. So that's if you have a franchise of, say, McDonald's. You didn't start McDonald's. Or you have you work for State Farm Insurance, okay? You work for Google or whoever, okay? You can still be a part of it. That membership's $25 a year. You get membership kits. You can go online and see the membership kits, okay? The last membership is a consumer membership. It's $10 a year for that membership. Anybody can join. You just have to be 18 years old, okay? You can go online and you can get the membership, and then we'll send you a kit in the mail. So I welcome everybody to it. But that is what this program is going to be about. I want to say thank you to Sister Q. Sister Q, I want to leave you with, and I want to say thank you to Cheryl, okay? I want to leave Sister Q as our guest with the final word. I want you to tell how, the listeners can listen to your program. It comes on every Thursday, I believe. So I'm going to let you have the final word.
But, Michelle, before you give her the final word, let me tell them a little bit about how they can get in contact with me.
Oh, okay.
I am www.themarriagecouch.com, or you could do the Direct Secrets to Matchmaking. Come, like I said, there's a publishing company there for you to publish your books. There's all kinds of platforms for you to put your resources out for your rapping, music, whatever you do. You'll find that just go and look and see what you like, and we'll do something to get you on there. But like I say, www.directsecretstomatchmaking.com, or you can come on the Marriage Couch, and it'll show you how to get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks.
I apologize for that, Cheryl. But you're going to be on with us next week, too, so you're going to have...
Right.
Okay, Sister Q?
Okay, radio program is called What the Problem Is with Sister Q live on Harambe Radio. It comes on HarambeRadio.com. It's on Thursday evenings from 8 to 9 p.m. And you can just go to HarambeRadio.com. There's a live stream button, listen live, and click on the button, and you can hear the program.
Yes. And Harambe Radio is Black-owned, right? Yes,
that is a Black-owned media platform based, because they do have radio and TV. I'm only on radio. And if you want to email me, you can email me at Sistah Q, SISTAHQ, at pantherpaw.info.
Yes.
That's PANTHERPAW.info.